Hello everyone, this is Shelly from Koala Knits and Knacks, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do a knitted long tail cast on your machine. Now we do not use knitting needles, but I am going to use one to show you the technique, and then we'll take that technique and we'll transfer it to our machine. All right, so let's, once you get yourself well, you don't actually need to get yourself a knitting needle. You can just watch what I'm doing and it'll give you the visual as to what we do for the machine, and then hopefully that will help you see how to do it, okay? All right, so you're going to take your yarn. Now you're going to take the end and you're going to make a long piece, okay? And that piece is going to go inside of your machine, okay? That is going to be the long tail that we're going to use. You're going to take your yarn, you're going to make a slip knot. This I'm going to put on my crochet, on my knitting needle, so that you can see how we make the next stitch. But this is going to go on your first needle, the first needle that you're going to work. You're going to just put that loop right over top, okay? Then you're going to grab those two ends. This is your working end. This is the one that's on in your machine, okay? Just in the center of your machine. You're going to grab it with your fingers, your 3 fingers, 2 or 3 fingers, and then you're going to put your thumb and your index finger inside there. It looks like a triangle, okay? And then now that your hand is facing that direction, you're going to just tip it back so that you see the underside of your hand, okay? The palm of your hand, and you're going to see there's 1, 2, 3. Well, you're not going to count that one. We're going to just visualize these 3. There's 1 strand, 2 strands, 3 strands. You're going to go underneath the first strand, over top of the second strand, and over top of the third. Grab that third and bring it through. Okay, gonna make sure that you keep the end in the machine. You want to make sure the working side is always closest to you. Put your hands in there again, tip your hand up. You're gonna go under that first strand, over that third strand, and through the loop. Okay, missing the second strand altogether. Put your hands back in the center, tip it up, under the first strand, forget about that second one, you're going over it actually, and then over the third strand, grab the third strand and bring it through that loop. Let's do that again. Okay? So now we've cast on 4 stitches. We've cast on 3, but this first loop counts as a stitch if you're knitting on a needle, and it does on our machine too, okay? So you're going to put your hands into the center, spread your 2 fingers, turn it upside down, go underneath that first one, over to the third one, go over top of it, and grab it and bring it through. That's how you do a long tail cast on for knitting. Now let's take it to our machine. All right, so now that we've had our visual, let's move it to our machine. So you're going to take your tail end, you're going to put it in your machine, and you're going to put quite a bit in there, depending on how many stitches you're going to make. And then you're going to make a slip knot. And generally this would go on the needle, right? But it's going to go on this needle. So let's get around to our first needle here. Okay, I'm going to put it on my first white needle, just like that, and underneath that little hook. Okay, then I'm going to rotate my barrel so that I have my next needle up. Now this yarn that's inside of the machine has to always be the one that's on that side. The working yarn has to always be outside of your machine, okay? So then you're going to grab your both ends like we did with the needle. Oops, you don't want that around there. Like you did with the needle, put your thumb and your finger through. Then you're going to turn up your hand. You're going to put your finger underneath that first one, over top of the third one, bring it through. Now when you pull on this one on your thumb, on your left hand, that's what tightens the strand as you go through, okay? So now we attach that one. Want to make sure that you don't get your yarn twisted. Oops, knocked the camera, sorry. I'm going to grab these 2 ends. I'm going to rotate my barrel. I'm going to turn it up, go underneath the first one, over the third one, bring it through that loop. Pull with my thumb here to tighten it a little bit, put it over that next one, okay? And we repeat the process for as many needles as we need, okay? Under the first, over the third, pull, add it to your needles, okay? Give it a little tightening, but not too tight, because you have to make sure that loop drops over your red teeth when you come back, okay? Under, over, I went a little too far, but I still have this loop intact here. So I'm going to go like that. And there we go. Might not be the best training video, but I hope you're getting the idea. Under, over, then over your needle, and just like that, okay? Now you keep doing that for as many needles as you want. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done a few more, but I'm going to do a couple more with you just to show you once again, okay? So I'm going to put my 2 fingers through that loop. I've got my triangle. I'm going to turn up my hand, put my finger under that first strand, over the third one, bring it through that loop. Then with this thumb here, I can tighten it a bit, okay? Then I'm going to just put it over that stitch, okay? Let's do one more. Let's rotate our needles. Okay, fingers in, turn it up, under the first, over the third, bring it through, tighten it up with this thumb, and then put it over, okay? All right, so now we're making sure that the tail is on the inside, and of course you can cut that because let's just say that this is all we needed. We don't need all that tail, so let's cut it so it's not in our way. And from there, we can put our stopper on. So we know if this is our last worked needle, we have to go underneath that red divider that is right to the left of it. And we count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put my stopper on there, okay? And you can look at my videos on how to use stoppers, okay? I have a video that I just recently posted on how to use your stoppers, and it will be very helpful for you. Okay, so then I'm going to continue rotating my barrel till I get to that stopper, until it won't let me go anymore. Then I'm going to come back, make sure that that little stitch goes over those red teeth, and all the way down. Okay, might be a little tight because you did you just cast on, and you might have tightened them a little bit too much, which is what I did, but it's okay. It'll work out fine. Okay, so you're going to help your first row. You're going to go till your stopper. Okay, there we go. I was tension on this needle. When I'm doing flat panels, I like these black needles to be in the middle of my panel. And I should have done that for this cast on because I don't like them at the end. It freaks me out because of the tension is tight at the beginning. I like it in the middle, and then it counts my rows in the middle, and I show you that in my video as well. Okay, so then you're going to keep going for as many rows as you want. If you don't want to use waste yarn, then this is one way of casting on because it holds your end secure and your rows are not going to unravel when you take it off your machine, okay? So there you go. That is called the long tail cast on, and then you can just keep knitting and having fun, going back. I love doing flat panels. You know, I'm just starting to get into them, and I just find them so much fun. Now this yarn is just like a dream. It's cooperating very well, okay? So then you would go for as long as you want. Make your panel as wide as you need it, or as long as you need it to be. Now I'm not showing you how to pull it tight at the end of the rows and stuff here because I show you that in another video. But then when you take it off, let's see, do I have enough there to take it off now? I think so. I'm going to go ahead and remove it as though I've got my panel the length that I want. I'm going to open my yarn feeder. I'm going to take that out. Back it up into my first needle. Then I'm going to go across once and then back, and it shall let go as I come back. Okay, and there's my piece. I'm gonna give it a little stretch. Now this is the end of the project that I just took off that I didn't put waste yarn on. I would never, like, it'll undo. So of course I would have put waste yarn on that if this was a real project, but it's not. So this is the side that we did our long tail cast on with, okay? And so this is the beginning of the row. So we have to go over to the end, and we got to start pulling that, oops, wrong way. Pulling that first row to tighten it, okay? So when I do a project, which I have an upcoming one that I'm going to do, I will show you in more detail how to do that and how to find that that edge and how to pull it, because it's going to be fairly loose, and so we're going to pull on the top to tighten it. So we don't want it all loose and loopy like this. We want it nice and tight and smooth. And there's a way to do that. It's not hard. And then what that will do, it will lengthen the tail on this end, and then it'll be nice and smooth and tight. And that's why we do that. Now, it works great if you want to do rib knitting, okay? So the next project I'm doing has some rib knitting on it. I have done rib knitting with just doing a crocheted end too, with having done waste yarn. But this is just one other way of doing it, using your long tail cast on and closing up your end that way. It makes a really nice finish. Okay, so just we'll leave it at that, because I just wanted to show you how to put that on your machine and how to actually do it. And when I have a project that I'm using it for, we'll go into more detail as to how you close up the end here and get that all tightened, okay? All right, so thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you have a wonderful day.